All right, welcome everybody to the All About Nothing podcast kind of daily show. It is Friday, January the 17th, and uh, welcome. You know, um, I was chatting on TikTok just a little bit ago before. That I saw a report that said that, or I saw someone's TikTok, Aaron Parnas, I think it's pronouncing his name correctly. He came on and said that the TikTok ban that Biden intends to push the ban down the road to Trump and let Trump make a decision on that. So I'm looking it up right now. Um, huh. Okay. Um, 12 hours ago, Forbes reported that said the Supreme Court may rule on TikTok ban as early as today, and justices seem to be signaling that they may uphold the law. So the article by Allison Durkee says the fate of TikTok's operations might be decided Friday after the Supreme Court said that it may announce opinions in the morning, potentially delivering a ruling on TikTok days before the ban against it is scheduled to take effect, with justices recently signaling during an oral argument that they may uphold the policy. So that's not quite the news I wanted to hear. Um, TikTok, BBC reports TikTok Trump will put measures in place to stop ban. Advisors say this is according to the BBC's reporter Rachel Looker in Washington. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump will find a way to save TikTok before a ban on the app is due to take effect this weekend. His incoming national security advisor has said. Congressman Mike Waltz of Florida said Trump would intervene if the Supreme Court upholds a law that bans the platform in the U.S. unless it's sold by the 19th of January. In its last week, the Biden administration is also looking at ways to prevent TikTok suddenly disappearing. Okay, all right. Chinese owner ByteDance has said that it plans to shut off the app for its 170 million users to the U.S. 170 million U.S. users on Sunday. I I don't know. Let's see. He noted that the law allows a 90-day extension for ByteDance if significant progress has been made towards a sale. Essentially, that buys President time Trump to keep the TikTok going. So that so it sounds like there would have to be some coordination between Donald Trump administration, the Biden administration, as well as uh, I guess the Supreme Court has to make a ruling on it, and then the president could potentially step in, or I don't know. I will say this. Let's see. I am so sad that people have to submit their Chinese ID to go live on Red Note. Huh. I haven't gotten on Red Note yet. I have not gotten on Red Note yet, and my wife has, and she seems to really enjoy it. She like the interactions between people there. She pulled up and showed me a gentleman from China talking going live with a guy that was in Louisiana somewhere, and just the interaction between the two cultures. Uh, Louisiana, the guy was super cowboy, or yeah, cowboy, is that even a term anymore? Yeah, I guess it is. Yellowstone was pretty big for a while, but super, really, he was really, really country. Maybe that's the word I should use. Hold on a second, I gotta. Um, yeah, really country. Um, and but genuinely, it was like the two of them were trying to get to know each other and understand each other. The guy from Louisiana was telling him to pull up music. I think at one he was asking how to say some words in Chinese. He did get a little vulgar with he was trying to get him to swear in Chinese, and the gentleman on the app, the gentleman in China or in Hong Kong or Shanghai or wherever it was, um, he wouldn't do it. Like he wouldn't say the bad words on Red Note. Why does it feel like they want to seem like Trump is going to be a hero? Kind of feels off to me. So, I know this probably isn't a popular opinion, but especially among people that potentially watch the All About Nothing podcast, um, or listen to our podcast. Um, I do not want Trump to fail. Uh, in the sense that I don't want Trump to fail and it have a negative impact on people in this country. That I don't want that, and genuinely, I don't think most people want that. I think that for the most part, while uh, while I don't agree with Trump's some of Trump's policies, and while I don't agree with who he is as far as his character, things like that, that's me. I just that's who I am. That's the type of person I am. Um, so in apparently in Red Note, politics isn't allowed. Is that politics from every side or both sides? Is it just in China, or because I think in China politics aren't allowed. Um, see, Trump fan, and I'm staying vigilant. Beware of false prophets. I'm a young combat vet, not naive. Okay, well, Eddie, definitely appreciate your service. But so I don't want Trump to fail, because Trump failing means that the country fails, and ultimately that's you know people could get hurt economically, they can get hurt, physically. There's that potential. I just nothing that could okay, well, I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I do see the suppression of human rights. I think, or we have free speech here in the United States, and sometimes free speech hurts people's feelings. Um, that's just a fact. But so anyway, my the likely unpopular opinion is that there might be some coordination between the Biden administration and the incoming Trump administration, and maybe they're trying to coordinate something. It's not necessarily to make it look like uh I know, I know, uh trope, I know. But it's not necessarily that they're trying to make Trump a hero. I think that it's more that the impact that not having TikTok is going to have, is it is is that impact, is that negative impact of not having a TikTok app in the United States, is that worse than having um, whatever security issues or security risks that they think it will pose? Amy says we don't really have free speech. Human rights should be number one and enforced of them for everyone. I'm going to paraphrase something that Jimmy Carter said, uh, and uh, I'm going to try and get it as close to correct as possible. And this is an actual quote that Jimmy Carter said, uh, that the United States, or the United States of America, didn't invent human rights, but that human rights invented the United States of America. And that's a quote. It may be paraphrased a little bit, but that's a quote. Um, that free speech, you should be able to speak your mind without fear of repercussion, as long as that free speech isn't outright hurting someone, isn't doesn't fall under any possible liable issues. Um, that's Jimmy Carter. I think was I think Jimmy, in my opinion, I was only alive for like 2 years of Jimmy Carter's administration, but maybe three, 79, 80, 80 into 80, so two. But the I have the utmost respect for him. I met him twice. I got to shake his hand twice. I Back in the '90s, I volunteered with Habitat for Humanity, And I've said it multiple times on the podcast that he I watched him swing hammers at the age of, like, what, 75 years old. I mean, he was out there pushing wheelbarrows. This was genuinely a man that after his presidency, he didn't just disappear. He he kept he kept pushing and working for the rest of his life. And um, I think that the eulogies that were given at his funeral were beautiful. Um, I think that it was a I think that it was a miracle that he, not a, well, not an actual like real miracle, but I think that it was a blessing that he lived to be 100 years old. Um, I think that, the fact that uh, he the accomplishments that he made. This was a man who was uh, a nuclear scientist. He was a military veteran. Um, he was the governor of the state of Georgia, and then president of the United States, and all of those things, huge accomplishments, especially from for a peanut farmer from Georgia. But then to go on and relieve the world of the guinea worm disease. I mean, you know, at one point there were 3 or 4 million people that are afflicted with it, and the uh, Carter Foundation comes in and uh, does the work, literally pulling these worms out of people's feet. Um, and I think last year or the year before there was like 16 cases left in the world. That's it's and I'm not saying that he. No, I am. He did that. That was him. You know, he led his organization, his charitable foundation, to do it, uh and then he physically was doing some of the work. You know, I I I I don't know that we're going to find many people that, especially in our political environment now, that are going to be as involved as Jimmy Carter is post what we would consider a retirement. So, oh, yeah. So, just a couple more headlines. Israel Security Cabinet meet to discuss a ceasefire and hostage deal. Um, so that's great. Um, that is, I think that is fantastic, and I sincerely hope that there is a ceasefire and that Israel and and the um, forces against Israel can come to an agreement that it's time to end the bloodshed. Um, I really, we discussed a little bit of this on one of the daily shows. I think it might have been this week. It might not have been, but um, I really think the solution in the Middle East is not going to come from the governments. It's going to come from the people. It's going to come from a resolution will be found when the people say enough is enough, and these governments don't represent us. These factions don't represent us. It is going to take the people of Israel and the Arab nations, the people of those Arab nations, to finally say enough is enough. We are collateral damage to your fighting. I think that's the only way. That's the only way it gets solved. Um, Sadly, I think that's the only way it gets solved. I really wish that there was. I wish there was a way that these governments could make it happen, and they are inept. Um, my opinion is that Benjamin Netanyahu is a power hungry, um, a, a a facade of a leader. He's power hungry. He's financially hungry, and done he has done more to make himself rich in the time that he has been the prime minister for Israel than he has for the people of Israel. Um, That's based on my observations. That's based on uh, watching, um, you know, news reports about him, reading articles about him. I've read several books that are about Netanyahu. I might not be a popular opinion with some, but it is my opinion. And free speech, I can say what I want. All right. Last story. Let's see. What else do we have going on in the news? I guess real quick. Um Maybe we'll just talk about the Los Angeles wildfires. This is a battle that's still going on. And whether or not you believe that climate change is real or not, I'm sorry, it's real. Um, there more than 170,000 people are still under evacuation notices as firefighters battle the deadly Los Angeles blazes. Sorry. There is hope that fire teams will continue to make progress this weekend ahead of another round of fire fueling winds expected next week. So, um, you look at some of the pictures across neighborhoods in Los Angeles and just decimated. Um, and I think one of the things that bothers me a lot about things like this is that when a natural disaster happens, which this is, regardless of whether you think the urban sprawl in Los Angeles has created this situation, whether you think that the water situation was mismanaged, whether you think that, aside from all of that, a homeless guy with a fire didn't start this. These were fires that started in different areas, 15, 20, 30 miles away from each other. This is as simple as, yes, potentially someone could have flicked a cigarette butt out and those embers hit the right spot. Those things do happen and have happened in the past. But this is a these are wildfires occurring in January. It's January. Wildfires in LA typically in the summer, not in LA, but in Southern California, in California, or the desert areas that have forest. This isn't natural, and this has more to do with just how the earth is adjusting to our impact on it. Now, you could say it's been a negative impact. You might try to say that it was a positive impact, which I don't think anyone could make that argument. Mercedes says all the celebrities who participated in the P Diddy parties, their homes got burned down. I, I've not kept track of who whose homes have been lost. Um, I know that there are people that are. I know P Diddy's home, as far as yesterday, did not burn down. I know people were reporting that it had, but it didn't. Power plant on fire in Monterey County. World's largest lithium battery storage. That's Thanks, Tass. That's scary. Um, Lithium and fire don't mix. They just don't. It's not a good idea. Um, but so anyway, this is we now, because the Earth has made an adjustment, we now have to make an adjustment, and whether that means that and I said it in a post that I put on my TikTok at Barrett Gruber. But uh, I hmm, we have to adjust uh, to this changing world, and I am not an expert on disaster recovery. I'm not an expert on um, uh, resource management, water resource management, that sort of thing. Uh, I am not an expert on, I'm not a mayor. I don't. It's not me. Uh, People are elected to those positions. People are hired into resource management positions. Um, it sounds like, and just my observation. I don't think that I don't think this was a mismanaged situation. Sure, is Karen Bass visible 100%? Uh, I think I've seen some news conferences with her. I think that, the elected mayor is never going to be the expert on everything. That's why they hire the best people to fill the roles they need to fill. And I think so ultimately, I again, it's a situation I don't want her to fail, because that means that it's failure for the city of Los Angeles, and people get hurt. And so the only thing I think that we can all do is just, if you have it in you, there are plenty of places that you can donate to support the victims and to support the firefighters and first responders in Los Angeles. World Central Kitchen is a group that is renowned for showing up at these disasters and helping people by feeding the first responders. Your sing baby shark next thing that threw me off. Thanks, Mowgli. Mowgli, Mowgli, maybe. Gremlins fan, maybe. Um, or that's your name. Um, but you know, World Central Kitchen, I think they're WCK.org. You can make donations to them if you have it in you. Um, but besides that, I'm I'm not the type to tell people other people to send out prayers, but good vibes. You know, um, that would be my suggestion. So, all right, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of the Kind of Daily Show. If you could do me a favor, you're still watching. Please follow us. Subscribe wherever you can. We're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. We have a website you can go to for all of those links, theallaboutnothing.com. We release episodes on Mondays. Got a good episode coming up with Zach. We got a good episode coming up on Monday that people should check out. Um, as well, we are going to be recording an episode with Donald Brock Jr., who is the coordinator for the Soda City Comic Con, the Coastal Comic Con, and the Myrtle Beach Broadway Comic Con. Those are Boardwalk Comic Con. Sorry, Boardwalk Comic Con. Those are all going to be coming up. The first one is going to be in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's the Coastal Comic Con. We're going to talk about that when Brock comes on. You can go and check out some of the guests that they're going to have, celebrity people they're going to have now. Matthew Wood, who is one of the voices that you hear in the Star Wars cartoons and Star Wars movies. Matthew Watterson, who is the voice of Magneto from the X-Men 97 series. Cal Dodd, who is the voice of Wolverine for the animated X-Men series all the way up through the X-Men 97 series. Let's see, who else? Sam Witwer. Sam Witwer, who is multiple voices across the Star Wars universe. So we're going to have Donald Brock, who is coordinating, or the coordinator. Um, he's the guy behind the curtain for the Coastal Comic Con coming up in Wilmington, North Carolina. It'll be at the Wilmington Convention Center on March 1st and 2nd. I will be there. It's going to be a really good time. Also, check out ZJ if you have it in you, please. Go check out zjzdesigns.com. We have this is a small business that designs T-shirts. It basically takes you to their T Public site, and they have multiple designs for T-shirts. Some of their Christmas and Thanksgiving designs are still up there, and it's really good work. My it's actually my 80 almost 83-year-old mother, 82, yeah, almost 82-year-old mother. Sorry, mom. So go check it out. It's zjzdesigns.com. Also, I want to do a quick shout out for a friend of mine, Gary, who owns a small business here in Lexington, South Carolina. His business is Almighty Tees, and it is a um, screen printing and t-shirt printing, t-shirts, sweatshirts, stuff like that. right here in Lexington, South Carolina. They have they're on Facebook, they're on TikTok here. But All My Tees, ALMIGHTEE. Um, but they post videos pretty frequently. Gary does breakdowns on, or does videos of him making screen printing shirts. It's Gary's a great guy. I've known him for several years now. He's done several screen printings for me, whether it's been for sports or the podcast or whatever. Just if you can check that out, he's sincerely really good dude. Anyway, again, so just the hard sell. Follow us here on TikTok. I know we potentially only have 1, 2 more days, but this is where we're at. Follow us on YouTube. It's YouTube at the All About Nothing podcast as well. If you get a chance, you follow me. I'm trying to get my YouTube to the point where I can go live on it. I'm not quite there yet, or I am, but they haven't turned it on. But it's at Barrett Grouper. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching, listening, and have a great Friday. Stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself. All right, everybody, y'all have a fantastic